Anxiety often feels like chaos, an untamed storm within, pulling us out of rhythm with ourselves. But what if anxiety isn't the enemy? What if it's a messenger, a rhythm in the greater symphony of your life, urging you to listen more deeply? In the same way silence gives music its shape, these restless moments are not accidents. They are movements in your unfolding journey, guiding you toward strength you didn't know you carried. Every challenge you face is not a disruption but a thread in a larger design, a reminder that you are woven into something vast, purposeful, divine. And when you learn to meet anxiety not with resistance, but with a new way of seeing, it begins to shift. It becomes less of a cage and more of a compass. Because the truth is, your anxiety is not here to break you. It is here to awaken you to the brilliance of your role in the cosmic dance of existence. We're taught to believe that anxiety is a problem to fix, a flaw in our wiring, something to suppress, medicate, or outrun. And yet, what if that isn't the whole truth? What if anxiety is not the enemy you've been told it is? Think about this. Anxiety shows up because your mind and body are trying to protect you. It's a signal, not a curse. It's your nervous system whispering, or sometimes shouting, "Pay attention." But instead of listening, we fight it. We label it as weakness. We treat it as proof that something is wrong with us. And in doing so, we miss the deeper message. When you stop and really look at anxiety, you notice something fascinating. It always carries information. It shows up in your chest, in your breath, in that racing thought loop, because it wants to point you towards something unresolved, something unexpressed, something asking for care. Imagine if we approached it differently. Instead of bracing against it, we paused and asked, "What are you here to teach me?" That single shift changes everything. Suddenly, the pounding heart isn't just fear, it's energy. The restless thoughts aren't just noise. They're direction. The unease isn't punishment. It's a messenger guiding you back into alignment. And here's the part most people overlook. Anxiety doesn't come from nowhere. It rises out of unmet needs, out of ignoring our own truths, out of carrying weight that was never ours to carry. It is your system's way of saying, something is out of rhythm. Listen. Like a fire alarm, it may feel overwhelming, but it exists to save you, not to destroy you. This is the hidden method you haven't tried yet. Not trying to eliminate anxiety, but learning to reframe it. To recognize that it isn't proof of your weakness. It's proof of your awareness. Anxiety means you are alive, sensitive, connected, and tuned into something larger than yourself. Think about the ocean. On the surface, the waves crash, unpredictable and sometimes violent. That's your anxiety. But if you dive beneath into the stillness of the deep, you discover calm, silence, and power. Anxiety isn't the whole ocean. It's the surface. And when you realize that, you stop fearing the waves. You learn to ride them. You trust that beneath them, calm always exists. This doesn't mean anxiety feels pleasant. It doesn't. But when you stop labeling it as an enemy, the relationship changes. You no longer spend all your energy fighting it. Instead, you begin to listen. You begin to learn. You begin to reclaim the power hidden within it. And maybe, just maybe, that's why it shows up in the first place. To remind you that you are alive, to push you toward growth, to awaken you to the truth that even your most uncomfortable moments are not accidents. They are part of a larger unfolding, a divine rhythm you are meant to step into. So the next time anxiety rises, don't ask, "How do I get rid of this?" Ask instead, "What are you here to reveal?" That question shifts anxiety from a cage into a compass. Because anxiety was never here to break you. It was here to lead you back to yourself. Anxiety is not your enemy. It is your invitation to listen more deeply to the life that is already moving through you. If you've ever sat in a quiet room with your anxiety, you know how restless it feels. Your thoughts race, your body fidgets, your chest tightens. It feels chaotic, like a drumbeat pounding too fast for you to keep up with. And yet beneath that restlessness, there is always a rhythm. Think about music for a second. What gives music its beauty isn't just the notes, it's the spaces between them. Silence isn't the absence of sound, it's the structure that allows sound to make sense. Without pause, music is just noise. Without stillness, life feels the same way. Anxiety, as uncomfortable as it is, often shows up as the noise. But here's the hidden truth. If you lean in instead of running away, you can start to hear the rhythm beneath it. The anxiety is not random. It's part of the symphony of your life. Every restless night, every racing thought, every tight breath. It's not meaningless chaos. It's movement. It's your system trying to realign, to call you back into sync with yourself. Just as the tide goes out and comes in, just as the seasons shift from winter to spring, you too move through rhythms. Anxiety is simply one of those rhythms, but most of us panic when the tempo changes. When life speeds up or slows down in ways we didn't expect, we fight it. We want everything to stay steady, predictable, but life doesn't work that way. No great symphony plays on one note forever. The beauty comes in the changes, the crescendos, the pauses. And what if we started to see anxiety like that, not as a permanent state, not as evidence that we're broken, but as one part of a larger flow, a fast, intense movement in the music of our life, one that eventually leads into another section, softer, slower, more spacious. When you see it this way, you stop fearing that anxiety will last forever. You realize it can't. Just like no storm lasts forever, no anxious wave does either. It rises, it peaks, and then it passes. Always, here's the key. When you stop fighting the rhythm, you can finally move with it. Have you ever tried dancing against the beat of a song? It feels awkward, exhausting, impossible. But once you catch the rhythm, even if the beat is fast, you can flow with it. That's what happens when you reframe anxiety. It may still be uncomfortable, but you learn to ride the tempo instead of tripping over it. This is why stillness is so powerful. Stillness isn't about eliminating the rhythm. It's about hearing it more clearly. In the quiet, you can feel the pulse of your own life again. You can notice where you're rushing too fast, where you're holding your breath, where you're out of sync. And when you notice, you can realign. Anxiety then becomes a teacher. It tells you you've been pushing too hard, or you're ignoring something important, or you're carrying more than your share. The restlessness is the clue. The rhythm is the wisdom. And once you start listening, something incredible happens. The same energy that once felt overwhelming can become empowering. Anxiety has energy, it's fire, it's movement. And when you understand the rhythm beneath it, you can channel that energy into focus, creativity, or action instead of fear. So the next time you feel restless, don't just brace yourself for the storm. Pause, breathe, ask yourself, what rhythm is moving through me right now? And trust that it's not random. Trust that it belongs. Because the truth is, anxiety is not noise. It is part of the music. And when you learn to hear the rhythm beneath it, you stop feeling lost in chaos. You begin to dance again. What feels like restlessness is not disorder. It's the rhythm of life calling you back into step. Anxiety thrives on perspective. The way you see it often determines the way you experience it. If you see anxiety as a monster crouched in the corner, you'll live in fear. If you see it as proof you're broken, you'll shrink under its weight. But the moment you shift your perspective, everything changes. Let me ask you this. Have you ever mistaken a shadow for something terrifying? Maybe a jacket on a chair looked like a person in the dark, and your body reacted, heart racing, breath shallow, muscles tense. But then you flipped the light on and realized, oh, it's just a jacket. Nothing had actually changed except your perspective. Anxiety works the same way. It often feels larger, scarier, and more permanent than it really is. But when you flip the light of awareness onto it, you realize it's not a monster. It's a messenger. It's not here to destroy you. It's here to direct you. Here's the hidden method most people never try. Instead of resisting anxiety, you reframe it. Resistance makes it louder. Reframing makes it clearer. Imagine saying to yourself in the middle of an anxious moment, "What if this isn't a threat? What if this is my body preparing me to rise to the moment?" That's not denial, that's perspective. And it changes everything. Science backs this up. The racing heart, the sweaty palms, the quickened breath. These are not just signs of panic. They're also the signs of excitement. The body doesn't always know the difference. It's the mind that labels it, which means you have more power than you realize. The same physical reaction that feels terrifying when called anxiety can feel empowering when called energy. This shift isn't about pretending everything's fine. It's about widening the lens. When you step back and look at anxiety with curiosity instead of judgment, you see it differently. You notice that it often shows up right before growth, before the speech, the interview, the risk, the leap. Anxiety isn't standing in your way. It's standing with you at the edge of change. Perspective also gives you compassion. Instead of beating yourself up for feeling anxious, you can say, "Of course I feel this. I'm human. My body is trying to keep me safe." That shift turns shame into understanding. And from understanding, healing begins. It's like looking at a piece of abstract art. Up close, it might look like a mess of random brushstrokes, but when you step back, you see the design. Anxiety up close feels chaotic. But step back, and you might realize it's been pointing you toward truths you've been ignoring. Maybe it's telling you a boundary has been crossed. Maybe it's urging you to slow down. Maybe it's inviting you to release something you've outgrown. Here's the beautiful paradox. When you stop fighting anxiety and start shifting your perspective, it loses its grip. What once felt like a cage becomes a compass. The walls that seemed to trap you transform into signposts, guiding you back to yourself. And the truth is, this isn't just about anxiety, it's about life. The way you choose to see things determines the way you live them. Pain can be punishment, or it can be a teacher. Silence can be emptiness, or it can be presence. Anxiety can be an enemy, or it can be a guide. The situation may not change immediately, but your perspective, that changes everything. So the next time anxiety rises, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What if this is happening for me?" That question turns fear into possibility. It takes you from powerless to powerful, because anxiety isn't just what happens in your body, it's what you choose to believe about it. Shift your perspective, and what once felt like a prison becomes the very path that sets you free. When anxiety takes over, the first thing it usually steals is your breath. Suddenly you realize you're holding it, or it's shallow and tight, caught in your chest. Your body feels hijacked, and here's the truth. When your breath gets away from you, your mind follows. But there's a hidden method, one of the most ancient yet often overlooked. Your breath is not just a biological function, it's an anchor, it's a compass, it's the bridge between your racing thoughts and your grounded body. Think about it, your breath is always here. From the moment you were born to this very second, it has never left you. It is the one rhythm in your life that never stops, no matter how chaotic things become. Anxiety speeds it up, shortens it, makes it jagged, but you can reclaim it. And when you do, you reclaim yourself. Here's why. Your nervous system listens to your breath. When you slow your breathing, your body sends signals of safety to your brain. Your heart rate lowers, your muscles soften, your thoughts begin to loosen their grip. You don't have to think your way out of anxiety. You can breathe your way through it. Picture this. You're in the middle of a panic spiral, convinced you're about to lose control. What if, instead of fighting those thoughts, you placed your hand on your chest and took one slow inhale, felt the air expand your ribs, held it gently, then released it like a wave flowing back into the ocean? Not once, but again and again. Each breath says, "I am here, I am safe." Over time, your body starts to believe it. The breath also acts as a compass. It points you back to the present moment. Anxiety thrives on the future, on the what ifs, the endless possibilities of things going wrong. But your breath only exists here now. Each inhale is proof of life. Each exhale is proof of release. When you return to your breath, you return to the present, and anxiety begins to lose its fuel. And isn't it beautiful how simple it is? You don't need equipment. You don't need hours of training. You carry this tool everywhere you go. It is the quiet superpower no one teaches us to use. But here's the deeper truth. Your breath is also sacred. It's more than physiology. It's a reminder of connection. Every inhale is borrowed from the trees. Every exhale returns to them. Your breath ties you to the earth, to the people around you, to the rhythm of existence itself. In a way, your breath whispers, you are not alone. So when anxiety rises and the world feels overwhelming, come back here to the anchor, to the compass, to the invisible thread tying you back to the present, to your body, to life itself. It doesn't mean anxiety disappears instantly, but it does mean you are no longer drifting helplessly in the storm. You have a way to root yourself. You have a way to guide yourself home. Because the truth is, your breath is the one constant companion you've had since the very beginning. It has never abandoned you, and it never will. And maybe, just maybe, it's been waiting for you to notice its power all along. When the storm of anxiety pulls you away, your breath is the anchor that steadies you, and the compass that leads you back home. One of the hardest parts of anxiety is how alone it can make you feel. When you're lying awake at night with your thoughts racing, it feels like you're the only one in the world trapped in that loop. Anxiety whispers that you're different, that something is wrong with you, that nobody else could possibly understand. But here's the truth that's lying. Anxiety is not a private curse. It's part of the shared human story. Every single person at some point in their life has felt it. Some admit it, some hide it, but no one escapes it. And when you recognize that, something powerful happens. You stop feeling like an outsider and start realizing you belong to something greater. Think about this. Your breath is the same rhythm that has sustained humanity for thousands of years. The stars you look at night are the same stars your ancestors gazed upon, wondering, searching, questioning. Your struggles, your fears, your questions, they are not separate from the flow of life. They are woven into it. What if your anxiety isn't proof of isolation, but proof of connection? Proof that you are alive, sensitive, awake, and tuned in to the deeper currents of existence. You're not broken. You're part of the design, and the design itself is divine. Consider nature. The seasons change without asking our permission. Winter doesn't apologize for its storms, and spring doesn't hesitate to bloom. The tides rise and fall, the planets orbit, the galaxies expand, all without rushing, all without resistance. And yet, within all that vastness, here you are, breathing, existing, living your story as part of the same choreography. When you begin to see yourself this way, anxiety shifts. It's no longer a private battle you're losing. It becomes a reminder that you are connected to something larger. Your racing thoughts are not random. They are movements in a symphony too vast to hear in its entirety. But even if you can't hear the whole song, you are still playing your part. And here's what's incredible. The very things you see as weaknesses, your sensitivity, your overthinking, your restlessness, may actually be your gifts. They are the parts of you that allow you to notice what others miss, to feel what others avoid, to connect in ways that go deeper than surface. The design is intentional, even when it feels uncomfortable. This is where faith comes in, not necessarily religious faith, but faith in the unfolding of life. Faith that there is order in the chaos, meaning in the struggle, beauty in the brokenness. Faith that even anxiety has a place in the architecture of who you are becoming. And if you've ever doubted that, think of this. The moments that felt like they would break you are the very moments that shaped you. The pain you endured gave birth to the compassion you now hold. The challenges you survived carved the strength you carry. What if anxiety, too, is not here to ruin you, but to refine you? When you embrace this perspective, the loneliness of anxiety starts to dissolve. You realize you are not the only one lying awake at night. Somewhere, someone else is breathing through the same storm. Somewhere, someone else is learning the same lesson. And somehow, without even knowing it, you are connected. Because the truth is, we are not separate stories. We are threads in the same tapestry. Anxiety, in all its discomfort, is one of the ways we are reminded of that connection. It humbles us, softens us, and pulls us back toward our shared humanity. So the next time you feel isolated in your struggle, pause and remember, you are not outside of life's design. You are part of it. Your anxiety doesn't set you apart. It ties you to the same human experience that has existed for centuries, and maybe that's the divine gift hidden within it, not disconnection, but belonging. Anxiety is not proof that you are separate. It is proof that you are woven into the intricate divine design of it all. For so many of us, anxiety feels like a cage. It locks us in. It shrinks our world. It convinces us we can't move forward until the fear is gone, until the nerves settle, until everything feels safe again. And so we wait, we pause life. We hope that one day the cage will open on its own. But what if the cage was never locked? What if it only looked that way because of the story we've been telling ourselves about what anxiety means? Here's the shift. Anxiety doesn't have to be a cage. It can be a compass. Instead of holding you back, it can point you forward. Instead of shrinking your world, it can show you where growth is waiting. Think about it. Anxiety often shows up at the edge of something important. Before the speech, before the decision, before the leap into the unknown. That's not random. That's life telling you, pay attention, something meaningful is here. If you reframe anxiety not as a stop sign, but as a signal of significance, everything changes. Suddenly, the racing heart is not a threat, it's energy. The sweaty palms are not weakness, they are preparation. The thoughts swirling in your head are not chaos. They are a reminder that you care, that you're alive, that you're standing on the threshold of growth. And here's the thing. Every dance begins with awkward steps. At first you trip, you stumble, you feel clumsy and out of sync. But with time, with practice, with patience, movement becomes rhythm. What felt impossible becomes second nature. Anxiety works the same way. It may feel messy and overwhelming at first, but the more you learn to move with it, the more it becomes part of your dance. You don't outsmart anxiety by erasing it. You outsmart it by reclaiming it, by transforming it, by seeing it not as the wall that blocks your path, but as the compass that guides your way. And what if that's the hidden method we've missed all along? Not fighting anxiety, not fearing it, not waiting for it to disappear, but inviting it to dance with us, to teach us, to point us toward the places that matter most. Because here's the truth. Anxiety is not the end of your story. It's an invitation into a deeper chapter. It's not the weight that breaks you. It's the resistance that strengthens you. It's not the silence that swallows you. It's the pause before the music swells again. When you begin to see it this way, the cage dissolves, and in its place you find movement. You find possibility. You find freedom. Not because anxiety vanished, but because you stopped letting it define you. Life itself is a dance. There are moments of stillness and moments of chaos, steps of beauty and steps of struggle. And anxiety, in its own way, is part of that choreography. It doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're alive, moving, growing, unfolding exactly as you were meant to. So when anxiety rises again, and it will, don't run from it, don't curse it, don't mistake it for a prison. Pause, breathe. Listen, and let it point you toward the next step in your dance, because the cage was never locked. The key has always been yours. Anxiety is not here to chain you. It is here to guide you from cage to compass back into the dance of your own becoming.